far. The event here is moderate and the turnout is still average, and we're looking forward to see an increase on the voters from different areas to come and vote for their leaders. And this particular constituency, KIAMBAA constituency, has got over 95,000 registered voters. And in this place that we are in at Gotv polling station, I will be speaking to one of the aspirants who is using the TND ticket, Richard Ngugi, to speak to us and tell us how has the event been and what are his expectations. Thank you very much for speaking to TV47. Tell us about the voting exercise. How has it been?
Thank you very much, Bwana Josh. I visited a number of polling stations in this particular constituency, and the exercise is moving on well. And finally, I arrived at this particular place. This is Gotv polling station, Gotv village, Mushala ward, and this is where I vote. The exercise is going on well. There is good turn-up, and we are hoping that everything will go on all right as per SIGNET. Yes.
Earlier on, there were allegations that there is voter bribery that is from the UDA candidate Njuguna Wanjiku. Maybe have you seen anything related to that?
As per today the exercise is going on well, except a few interruptions here and there. We are noting, like in some stations, you find some people who are not just voters, because the station is supposed to be for the voters. IBC commissioned the security, but in some places you find some bystanders. Like in one place, there was some rumor that there was an MP from a certain place in this particular Mount Kenya region who was seen speaking to people. But when he saw the members of the place, actually he's nicked with a number of with his group. There was also a few people in a place who were seen trying to interfere with the voters, but the security dealt with it. Even the issue of chiefs being at the gate of the police station is not a very appealing thing to be seen here. Yeah.
Maybe it is midday and it's 1 p.m. and we have those voters who are still at home, others are at their chambers. And what would you like to tell them?
I would like to tell those people, or those citizens from KIAMBAA who have not yet voted, to come out and vote, because it is said bad leaders are elected by those people who don't vote. Those are the people who elect them, because you don't have your input. And after the exercise is over, you keep on complaining what happened. And it is you who caused that particular problem. Yes.
What are your expectations for this particular exercise?
My expectation for this particular exercise is that the candidates have actually campaigned all over KIAMBAA. Although there was a lot of gifting, which made the exercise not to look like a campaign, just to look like a gifting exercise in this particular area of constituency, which members of KIAMBAA have not wasted. I'm confident of winning in this particular seat, because I believe I'm the only candidate who preached peace and not dividing people. And I also tackled on the basic issues of KIAMBAA. I noted that all those big parties, so-called big parties, they were just preaching issues of the party issues, and which party is stronger than the other. KIAMBAA people have basic people to be addressed, specific issues for many years which have not been addressed. And that is what the common man of KIAMBAA is looking for a solution of the basic problems facing the youth, the women, and the Wase. National politics can go on, but we have got our basic problems in KIAMBAA, which were not addressed by these big parties.
Thank you very much. That is Richard Ngugi, an aspirant with the TND ticket, and we are at Gotv polling stations. We'll be keeping an eye on what is happening. My camera person, Fantas Githua, can show you the people who are lining up for the voting exercise. You can see the numbers. You can see it is drizzling here, but we'll be keeping an eye to see what is happening on this particular polling station and the other polling stations. Remember, this constituency has got 154 polling stations, and 8 candidates showed up for this particular exercise, and they're competing. So we'll be keeping an eye to keep our viewer up to speed on what is happening from KIAMBAA constituency as the closing of this particular exercise of voting we expected at 5 p.m. today. So we are here, Musa Sala, and we'll bring our viewer up to speed on what is happening back to you in our studios, Nairobi.
Joash Onsare, voters still queuing to make their democratic right and cast their vote right there in KIAMBAA constituency. Thank you so much, Joash Onsare, for that quick update on what is happening in KIAMBAA constituency. Remember, we are giving you a special coverage of what is happening in KIAMBAA constituency as well as Muguga ward, where the residents are casting their votes to choose their members of county assembly as well as member of county assembly. Let's now cross over to Muguga ward, where residents are electing the member of county assembly, with political analysts saying that the outcome will be a major statement on the President Uhuru Kenyatta's succession plans. Mungara Joseph Githinji is flying the Jubilee Party ticket, while Kamau Thumbe is contesting on a UDA ticket. Our reporter Grace Josephine has been on the ground in Muguga ward and now joins us live. Good afternoon, Grace. Kindly bring us up to speed with what is happening in Muguga.
You see, I said, now, they don't understand how much 1 minute is.
Well, we'll be back. It seems that we have lost touch with our reporter Grace Josephine. She is in Muguga ward, just trying to get snippets of what is happening in Muguga ward. Remember, we are bringing you a live coverage of what is happening in KIAMBAA constituency as well as Muguga ward. Remember, residents are exercising their democratic right to ensure that they elect their preferred candidate to represent them in both the National Assembly and the County Assembly. And of course, this particular mini poll is sort of said to be a determiner of the succession politics in the country. Remember that President Uhuru Kenyatta's Jubilee Party and Deputy President William Ruto's UDA are the main contestants in these particular mini polls, and so the results will indicate which way the mountain will vote in next year's general election. Let's now get back to Muguga ward, where our very own Grace Josephine is on standby. Good afternoon, Grace. If you can hear me, kindly bring us up to speed with what is happening in Muguga.
Yeah. Yes, thank you, Musa Sala. Good afternoon. So we are still camping here in Muguga ward in Kabete constituency, of course, of the greater Kiambu County. And we are waiting also now for the Jubilee candidate to come and cast his vote. Remember, this seat fell vacant after the area member of parliament, Eliud Ngoge, passed on sometime in March. That was on the 16th of this year. Now, we've seen the UDA candidates, of course, cast his vote. We've also seen that alliance candidate also cast his vote, as well as the People's Party candidate cast his vote. Hundreds of voters turned up here since 6 a.m. this morning, and counting, they're still strolling in. Now, this is one of the largest polling stations out of the 29 stretched out in the entire ward. Security agencies confirmed that we have 58 security officers dispatched also across the entire ward. And you can say it has rather been peaceful, other than maybe just a few confrontations here and there. You find that people are not leaving the exit of the polling stations after casting their vote, especially here in Muguga and in Wangige. But that is a development we will definitely be following up for you, as we have been seeing IEBC officers trying to make sure that at least people, once they vote, they're able to leave for their homes and, of course, wait for the tallying. The tallying is happening at the Muguga Wagatonye Secondary School, where we were earlier this morning. So we will head there. That is after we see the Jubilee candidate voting, and we will definitely keep you abreast with that. So back to you in studio, Salah.
Well, thank you so much, Grace Josephine, for that quick update on what is happening in Muguga Ward. Of course, there is heavy police presence in Muguga Ward just to ensure that nothing goes wrong during those voting exercise right there. There are exactly 29 polling stations in Muguga Ward. Remember, the elections are coming following the death of course, the Member of Parliament for KIAMBAA constituency, the late Koinange, and of course in Muguga Ward. Remember that the candidates have complained of the interference by members of parliament in that particular exercise, and of course they complained of heavy presence of security officers in that as well, in what they term could be voter manipulation. And of course we are keeping up an eye on these particular events in Muguga Ward as well as KIAMBAA constituency. We have our team of dedicated reporters spread across those areas just to make sure that you receive the latest on these particular mini polls. Remember, it is argued that the results from these particular mini polls could shape the political atmosphere towards the 2022 general elections, and so it is something that we are keeping an eye on. Remember that President Uhuru Kenyatta's Jubilee Party and UADA allied to Deputy President William Ruto are the main contestants in these particular mini polls, that is in KIAMBAA constituency as well as Muguga Ward. And so it is vital that we keep an eye on these areas as the residents of those particular areas cast their vote and exercise their democratic right to make sure that they elect their representatives to both the National Assembly as well as the County Assembly. And so we have our team of dedicated reporters in those locations. Joash Onsare is in KIAMBAA constituency alongside our very own Mwangi Maina, who is also traversing the areas in KIAMBAA constituency just to make sure that nothing goes wrong as we bring you this live coverage. Our very own Grace Josephine is also in Muguga, and she just tells us that things have returned to normalcy, although long queues are still being seen in those particular in those 29 polling stations as the residents there cast their votes. Let's now move on. Just as Mafia is currently facing the IEBC selection panel in the ongoing interviews for the IEBC commissioner's position, let us go to KICC where the interviews are being held and listen in.
A national organization like UNDP will come in and say, we want to support Kenya in this way, in the pathway to democracy. And these are the people you lobby and sit down with them and give the budget. They'll say, we are going to support this budget item. We are going to put this. And this is something that we did when we were in the vetting board. There wasn't enough money to support the work of the board. And we had to have a roundtable meeting with a number of development partners, and they put a basket fund, which through National Treasury allowed us to use, and we were able to accomplish. So similarly, if I was joining the IBC, I will use those soft skills again to be an ambassador within the organization, to lead the team that will sit down and demonstrate that you give us these funds, we will be able to use them this way, because development partners like accountability.
Thank you, Mr. Munir. My parting short is, we would maybe appreciate your legal mind and experience you've been having. There's two sayings. There's no free lunches, all right? And you don't look at a gift horse in the mouth. How can IBC ever be independent when it is going out for grants and funding and, you know, that is, I don't need an answer, because it'll be, it's a matter of concern to all of us as Kenyans, I'm sure, including you. Thank you, and all the best.
Thank you very much,
Thank you, Chair.
Dr. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Abdallah. I'll now request Mr. Gideon Solonka to ask you a few questions.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Munyidia. Now, my first question will be Article 2 on the supremacy of our Constitution provides under sub 5.
Well, it is time to take a short commercial break, but we'll be back with more. Do stay with us.
You are one. crocodile inaweza tokea juu. Hiyo sijakula hata unataka nikufe kabla ni. I don't like it. I don't. Miss Kai na hipo ikitokelezea ivuruche simu yangu. No, ni sawa. Those who know me will tell you I'm not a lover of large volumes of water. But for you, we rove the different parts of the country and beyond just to make sure that we bring you the experience. We educate you, we entertain you, and we inform you.
That it's not political and it can do something.
As we sail the boat of Morning Cafe to enlighten you, entertain you, and inform you every Monday to Friday, only on TV 47.
Woo. Construction can be quite a task, but how do you move from finding your piece of land, sourcing the right materials, getting the right labor force to put up your building? Or better yet, how do you source for a building that's already built?
Just a small size of land can suit just a big maisonette because you are going high.
How do you ensure you get the right finishes to bring out the aesthetic value of your property and make it not only look good, but also feel good?
The buyers in this area are the buyers who are able to pay cash.
Well, we have it right here on The Realtor on TV 47, where we demystify building right here in Kenya and analyze the property industry for you to take advantage when acquiring your next piece of property.
Every February, we hear men joking about going to a men's conference on Valentine's Day. We laugh about it, the lucky ones end up having a decent Valentine's Day, and we move on. But what we do not know is that men actually do meet up. Men do sit down and have conversations about things that affect their day-to-day life.
Let me ask, does money make the man? Give them the gifts, shower them in it.
Welcome back. You're watching Newsfeed right here on TV 47. Keep talking to us. 22047 is our SMS line. You can also find us on social media at TV47 Kenya on Facebook, as well as at TV47K on Twitter. The hashtag to use is always TV47 Newsfeed. Now, it is make or break for President Uhuru Kenyatta and his Deputy William Ruto as residents of KIAMBAA constituency in Kiambu County elect their new leader in what political pundits say could direct central Kenya region politics ahead of the 2022 general election. The residents are electing their new member of parliament following the death of Paul Koinange. Let us cross over to KIAMBAA, where our reporter Mwangi Maina has the latest on the mini polls.
Wow, thank you so much, Musa Salah. Good afternoon to you. We are live from Dendero Primary School. This is in Dendero Ward, out of the 5 wards in KIAMBAA constituency. Voters are still streaming in. It is the afternoon hours. Not so many voters in the queues. Very few checking in. If you see some of the polling stations here, we cannot see anybody entering. But we hope as time progresses and as the polls come to a close by 5 p.m, probably those people who have not voted will find their way into the different polling stations. Probably to let you know that here in Dendero polling center, we are having 6 polling stations. With around 3,000 to 4,000 voters still streaming in to vote their preferred candidate. Remember earlier on when we were speaking to the Jubilee Party candidate Kareri Njama, he asked all people to come out in large numbers and vote for their preferred candidate. Musa Salah, if now you will allow me to speak to one of young people here who have come to vote, we hear what he has to say and his urge to other young people who are here. Welcome to the
Chege Majuis, and I'm so disappointed with the young people because when the elections are around the corner, it is the young people who are on safaras, on the road shows, cheering politicians. But when it comes to the actual voting, as you can see around, there are no young people who are voting. It is a shame because we have let our old people to decide the destiny of this nation when the young people are lining up in the centers. It's a shame, and I think the government should do something about these young people because they don't vote, they don't participate in their right of shaping this country. And
so those young people, wherever they are, what would you tell them right now?
In fact, I have made a sample of many young people around the centers. They don't have even the identification cards to start with. You ask a personal identification card, they don't know where they left it. That is the problem we are having in this country. The young people who should decide the next leaders are not doing that. We have left a person who is 80 years old coming here slowly to go and vote, while a young person is loitering on the streets, just shouting, this is my candidate, this is my candidate, but they are not voting. It's a shame.
Well, Musa Salah, that is one of the concerns that are in actually most of the polling stations that we have gone to. We have not seen so many young people coming to vote, but we hope by the time the polls are closing at 5 p.m., they will make their way into different polling stations. Right now, Musa Salah, allow me to speak to one of the independent candidates. He will tell us his name, where he has voted, and the voting process, his opinion on how the election is going about. Welcome to the broadcast. Tell us your name, where you have voted, and what would you say about the whole process of voting today?
Okay, I'm David Mugomo-Nyinyi, and I'm David Mugomo-Nyinyi, and I'm an independent candidate in KIAMBAA, and I have just voted a few minutes ago at Dendero Primary School. This is where we are, and I'd say the process has been smooth and peaceful, and I thank the people of KIAMBAA. The residents of KIAMBAA has made it very successful and peaceful so far, and we are still requesting our people to come out and vote for the right leaders, because it is said that the bad leaders are voted in by good citizens who don't come to the voting process or don't participate in the voting process. I encourage the young people to come and vote. The old people, our parents, our grandparents, let them come and vote. Let them come and decide who is the right leader for them. And I believe when we do that, we will take this constituency to the next level.
There is one polling station where we saw there was some fracas because somebody wanted to eject some politicians out and this and that. Yes. Have we witnessed here? Has the elections been disrupted here? Has the security agencies disrupted the election, or how is the whole process within this place?
We can say it's so unfortunate that people are still playing politics on the election day, and it is very wrong to do that on an election day. Let me say, maybe my other candidates are doing the wrong thing to me, but we thank God that within this place, people are very peaceful and they are doing the right thing and at the right time and for the right purpose. Yes.
All right, thank you so much. Musa Salah, that is an independent candidate, just voted here in Dendero Primary School. Remember that this election will be called off at exactly 5 p.m. and if at all a polling station opened late, some few minutes, or rather, depending on the time it opened, time that was lost will be recovered. Immediately after the voting ends, the tallying of votes will begin immediately, and all the votes will be taken to the main tallying center at Karuri High School in Karuri Ward. Back to you.